Productions.
Yeah, it's Haji. Haha. Let's go. Wasn't called out. But let's go. Yo, I know I wasn't invited, but this beat I had to ignite it, blow it up. Flames high, I'm the fire, you can't fight it. And I keep on spitting lyrics, come from everywhere to hear it. But this verse is so hot, you'll get burned if you come near it. I'm just saying you should fear it, cause my verses are fresh. It's live and direct. Check it, I'm just coming up next. Ghost Rider, cause I leave my trail blazing. They say I am so amazing, I can do this rap thing with or without an occasion. I'm elemental, cause the bars I drop are fire hot. But this flow is ice and you can find it up in Santa's spot. I keep it thin like the wind that comes from within. And I do this thing off the wing and straight off the deep end. New generation and I'm the genesis. Forget the revelation, cause I'm the nemesis. They be calling me mad cause I light it up with my penmanship, writing lyrics from scratch using just my verbal intelligence. Go! Ha! Yeah! And I'm new to this thing, so I got no one to call. So I'll just keep my beats dropping like, here we go, y'all. Yes. All productions, baby. Subscribe.